And major tourist attractions. The dive-bombing birds notched up a long list of casualties, with some victims taken to hospital before action was finally taken.
This video shows it clearly. The magpie was ready to guard its territory, from the lofty heights to the ground, at the Gippsland Heritage Park in Moe. Visitor Tony Eldred, her niece and nephew, quickly discovered they were considered trespassers and targets.
What's up?
Did he get you?
The three became unwitting additions to this bird's very long casualty list.
He hits really hard. You don't see him coming and just hits you in the top of the head. I was bleeding quite badly at first.
Well, it was terrifying because I didn't even think the bird was going to come near us.
But they were the lucky ones. Two of the magpie's 14 victims actually ended up in hospital with head wounds, leaving the park manager to admit he should have taken action earlier.
When you look back, we should have probably immediately taken some sort of action in that regard.
Animal expert Nigel Williamson was called in and immediately set about capturing the marauding magpie. A decoy of another male bird was used to attract the territorial bomber. Enticed into the trap, the problem was solved. The drama over, the last word went to 8-year-old victim Maddie with this bit of advice.
They didn't tell us two people have gone into an ambulance and have gone to hospital, and I reckon they should have just said, sorry, we're closed today.
Norm Beeman, 7 News.
Sadly, we do have a footnote to that story. After our camera crew left, the local newspaper turned up asking for a photograph and, you guessed it, the rogue magpie managed to escape. And as far as we know, it's still at large.
An aggressive magpie is causing havoc at a Gippsland tourist park. It's attacked a number of people, 2 of whom have needed hospital treatment. Park staff thought they'd caught the culprit earlier today, but as Mary McDonald reports, it's again given them the slip.
This amateur vision shows the enraged male magpie in action at the Gippsland Heritage Park in Moe on Sunday. Tony Aldred and her 11-year-old nephew were among those who scrambled for cover.
Never ever seen one that's been capable of hitting so many people and to continue the attack for 10-15 minutes till we actually left.
It hurt when he got me with his claws. It just started bleeding and then, we walked away from it. It kept following us.
The family did admit to some initial provocation, but in the space of a week, the disgruntled magpie had left behind a trail of victims.
The First Lady that was hit in the head sustained what I would consider a reasonable head injury. Blood was absolutely pumping everywhere.
The magpie's reputation for protecting its own is well known, but wildlife experts here say they've never seen a bird attacking people with such ferocity. After closing part of the park, authorities called in some much-needed backup. The plan, outsmarting the magpie by providing it with some competition, another male. The first attempt was unsuccessful, but the bird went back to investigate.
Ready, set, go.
The capture leaves the female magpie without a partner.
She'll actually get herself a new boyfriend. A new bachelor male will come in, normally within a couple of hours of this fella disappearing out of the territory.
But this story doesn't have a good ending. This afternoon, the magpie escaped and returned to the scene of its crimes. Mary McDonald, ABC News.
That's terrorising a part of Victoria. Now, the bird's been attacking visitors to the Gippsland Heritage Park in Moe.
Yep, animal rescuer Nigel Williamson was called in yesterday to try and capture the menace, but it escaped not once but twice. So will it be third time lucky for Nigel today? He joins us this morning. Nigel, good morning to you. This is a magpie on the prowl. How much havoc has this bird been wreaking?
It certainly has been causing quite a havoc in the last 2 days, but hopefully today we'll have it resolved once and for all.
So tell us about yesterday and what happened.
Right, well, yesterday we caught the bird and we actually caught the male and the female at the same time. And when we did that, the male escaped. So we reset the trap up again and caught the male a second time, which I thought was quite lucky. So the job was all completed, all done, everybody was happy. And then the local newspaper turned up to do a story. I took the bird out of the cage and it escaped that third time. So it's one very lucky magpie.
Nigel, what are you doing, man?
It's the first time in 20 years something like this has happened to me.
Sure.
Nigel, is it the male magpie that swoops, or both, male and female?
Yes. Well, both male and female will swoop, but the male is the more aggressive one, and he does most of the swooping.
Now, how do you capture a magpie, Nigel? Will you be changing your technique today?
I probably will a little bit, just by having two separate birds set up as decoys. I'll get one of them now and I'll show you how it's all done.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And while you're doing this, I just want you to answer another quick question. How long does this go on for? How long does swooping season last?
Right, it'll last through to about the middle of November.
Oh, great.
And the season will finish then, so we're up for it for a little while. So at the moment, I'm just setting the trap up.
Right. Hope it's better than our ones.
Oh, you could catch it on air, Nigel.
Set. And we put the bird into there. Now, obviously, normally we're in the territory where the bird's swooping, so...
and is that a female you've got in the cage, and is she okay there? She looks a bit, you know, fluttery.
Well, that's actually the male.
Oh, okay.
The male's got the white back on him, so that's how you tell the difference with them down here in Melbourne. I'm not sure what the difference is up in Sydney, because in the country of Melbourne, the males actually have a black back.
Right, and no magpies are harmed in this exercise, though?
No, not at all, because once we've caught the offending fella, we actually let the decoy go straight away.
Oh. And what do you do with the offending fellow? Do you relocate him, or what happens then?
Yes, we do. We take him at least 50 kilometres away, and that way he can't find his way back home again, and the problem's all resolved. Now, when we do take the male away from the nest, another male comes in and takes over the role of the first male and looks after the babies.
Oh, okay.
So the girl gets a new boyfriend.
Surrogate dad.
Now, is there a particular strain of magpie that is more aggressive than normal ones? Are we seeing a mutant strain of magpie come into our trees at the moment?
A super magpie.
Right.
A were magpie?
Right, I wouldn't say a strain of them as such, because in reality only 5% of magpies actually attack people. Right. If all magpies or all male magpies attacked, nobody could walk the streets of Australia at this time of the year.
So what's the best way then to protect yourself, Nigel? What do you recommend? Do we do the ice cream bucket on the head, or do we just avoid them altogether?
Right, just avoid the area if possible. If it's an area that you have to walk through, well, then you can put a hat on your head, put some sunglasses on, carry an umbrella, and but the best thing to do is to avoid the area so we don't have to come in and deal with them like this.
That's Nigel Williamson. Because there's one outside my gym, so I think I'll avoid it until mid-November.
Nigel Williamson, all the best today. Good luck. Stay safe.
Thank you very much.
The missing magpie that continued to confound would-be captors has finally been caught. The serial swooper has injured up to a dozen people, leaving 2 victims in hospital. 2 previous attempts to capture him left the renegade bird cautious of today's efforts, but after 2 false alarms, finally, success. The magpie, who is clearly unhappy to be in a cage, will be released in the bush, a safe distance from the Gippsland Heritage Park.